What we discovered. Let me take you back to 2019, James, just to sort of understand the magnitude of this. So she was convicted of a £740,000 benefit scam.
Sorry, what, pardon?
The specialist prosecutor in the specialist fraud division at the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, said it was the largest case of benefit fraud by a single person that I've ever prosecuted. Now, important to say...
And they got her a flat. They got her son a flat and they got her a bungalow.
That is what Ethel claims in the video. Let me just take Reform, by the way. Sarah Pochin says that they can't obviously vet who comes in. They get often 30 people a day coming into their office. They're trying to help. They can't do background checks. However, in this particular case...
They could Google Ethel Runcorn.
They could have Googled Ethel.
Now, this is where the story takes a shocking turn. The woman featured in the video was reportedly linked to a £740,000 benefit fraud case, one prosecutors reportedly described as the largest by a single person they had personally handled. Even the reaction said it all. Sorry, what? Pardon? And suddenly, what looked like a feel-good political moment started raising some serious questions. Before we continue, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
We are not slow to criticise politicians on this programme, particularly when they come from a party that seems to be populated by people possessed of very vile opinions, or in the most recent example, giving speeches in the council chamber to which they've just been elected, explaining why they don't understand anything and therefore politics should stop until I forget the details.
I don't understand the Constitution. I have not had sufficient time to read that as yet. I don't understand what standing orders are, what they're made up of, nor do I understand what an amendment is.
So it's nice to tell you that Henry Riley is here with a very uplifting tale of a Reform UK MP helping a little old lady from her constituents.
That's right. This all stems from a video, James, posted by Sarah Pochin, who you'll recall won in that by-election, safe Labour seat previously. She won by only 6 votes. She is the MP for Runcorn and Helsby, and she posted yesterday across her social media channels, across X, formerly Twitter, on Instagram and on Facebook, with a video, and the caption said, "Helping people like Ethel is why I love my job." Aww. And in the video, Ethel claims that within 2 days of speaking with the Reform, she was getting the help she needed, and specifically cites an adapted 2-bedroom bungalow. Curiously, though, James, within a few hours, the video was deleted from all of those social media channels. Fortunately, I recorded it, and this was what Ethel says in that video.
I got to get help because my son was sleeping in the woods because he threatened me. His mental health was... He kept threatening me, and neighbours would phone the police. He would be arrested. He'd get a restraining order, Sarah. So that means he couldn't come near me. He was sleeping in the woods, and I was begging for help, and I didn't get a bit of help. And one day I was up in the city, and I seen this office, and I thought, wait a minute, that's Nigel Farage. I says, I think that man would help. Because he's for people like me. And I came in this office, and within 5 minutes of speaking to the man, I was getting the help I needed. And within 2 days, I get the offer of a 2-bedroom bungalow that was fully adapted. Well, they fully adapted it. It took me months to get into it, but they fully adapted it for me. Good. And they helped my son get a flat. His first flat. And they got me his flat. And now they're helping me with his mental health. But Sarah, you should be in government. You should be in government now because everybody needs your help.
Thank you.
Everybody needs your help.
Thank you, Ethel.
And we're not getting it anywhere. We're not getting the help we need. And if this office opened up, I would still be in that bungalow. And possibly my son could be dead. And that's God's truth.
Before the controversy, this was the story being told. A woman describing a difficult situation, saying she felt abandoned and couldn't get help until she walked into a Reform UK office. According to her, things moved quickly. Housing support, an adapted bungalow, and help for her son. And politically, you can see why the video was shared. Because on the surface, it looked like the perfect success story. We helped when nobody else would. But as you'll see, the story didn't end there.
They deleted modesty, was it? Was she just sort of thought, I'm here to quietly get on with improving people's lives? It's probably a bit inappropriate of me to be boasting about it and trying to make political capital out of this little old lady's plight.
No, that's not the reason that it was deleted, James. Because I can reveal 2 things about Ethel. It is Ethel McGill, who, firstly is actually an amateur actor whose acting CV says she plays a variety of roles from hard-hearted Glaswegian women as well as other victims in her acting career. But more notably, she was dubbed by the Daily Mirror newspaper in 2019 as Britain's biggest benefits cheat after her involvement in a benefits scam.
Sorry, what, pardon?
Yes, Ethel McGill. And if you search Ethel Runcorn, it comes up pretty quickly on a Google search. So this was back in
Ethel Runcorn. So because it's a rare, not even Ethel McGill.
No, just if you type in Ethel,
just the
Runcorn,
Christian name
comes up,
and the town. And this is what you discover.
It's what we discovered. Let me take you back to 2019, James, just to sort of understand the magnitude of this. So she was involved, convicted of a £740,000 benefit scam.
Sorry, what? Pardon?
The specialist prosecutor in the specialist fraud division at the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, said it was the largest case of benefit fraud by a single person that I've ever prosecuted. Now, important to say...
And they got her a flat. They got her son a flat and they got her a bungalow.
That is what Ethel claims in the video. Let me just take Reform, by the way. Sarah Pochin says that they can't obviously vet who comes in. They get often 30 people a day coming into their office. They're trying to help. They can't do background checks. However, in this particular case...
They could Google Ethel Runcorn.
They could have Googled Ethel Runcorn, I suppose. Ms McGill, who's in her 70s, continued to claim her father, Robert Dennison's war pension and his benefits for 12 years after his death, as well as feigning dementia and claiming that she needed a wheelchair. However, investigators from the Department for Work and Pensions actually filmed her walking around and driving, despite claiming that she had debilitating illnesses for 30 years. At the time, the judge said, nobody, including me, believes that you're ill and that you've been putting this on for years. He said that she displayed breathtaking dishonesty and devious behaviour. Now, she ended up admitting fraud. She was jailed for 5 years and 10 months, pleading guilty to 14 charges from conspiracy to commit fraud, false accounting, false representation at Liverpool Crown Court. With regards to her late father, it was revealed at the court that she would ask a friend to lie in bed and pretend to be her father when the Department for Work and Pensions authorities would visit the house. The prosecutor at the time accused her of making good use of her amateur dramatic skills by feigning dementia and to succeed in her own fraudulent benefit claims. But this was uploaded by Reform. The caption had said from Sarah Pochin that she was helping people like Ethel is why I love my job.
There aren't many people like Ethel. She is, as you said, one of the worst offenders ever.
One of the worst offenders ever. I do need to tell you what Sarah Pochin has said in response to Reform UK MP. Her statement to us says, I try to be a hard-working local MP and I'm prepared to help anyone in Runcorn and Helsby who asks for my help. As an MP, I have to take people at face value. We do not run background checks on people who come to us asking for support. My default is to trust constituents who ask us for help. I understand the individual concerned has served her time for benefit fraud and the matters on which my office assisted her were entirely unrelated to that offence. Reform UK stands against benefit fraud and abuse of the system. Indeed, it's made very clear in their last manifesto, or the contract with the people, as they called it, that is the case. They have a harder line stance than many other parties on benefits. But the last line, they say, a responsible member of Parliament must also deal with each case on its merits and support constituents who come forward asking for help. 14
charges, including conspiracy to commit fraud, false accounting, false representation. Do we know whether or not, because do we know whether the account in the video that they took down is accurate? Do we know whether she did actually get a new bungalow and a flat for her son after the intervention of Sarah Pochin in her affairs?
Yeah, well, she claims in the video, Ethel McGill, that within 2 days she was sorted with this adaptive bungalow. Sort of the understanding I have is that Reform obviously can't do that. Sarah Pochin can't demand a bungalow for someone as much as you might want to as a local MP. But there is an understanding that in cases like this, if the local MP leans on the council or leans on someone, not necessarily saying this has happened in this case,
no,
but
of course,
if you do lean, and MPs do this all the time, but put a bit of pressure on, you can some way speed up the process or certainly make clear your constituents needs help.
And a flat for her son as well. I mean, it does seem like a bit of a jackpot.
And I think it's fair to say Reform UK were not aware that she was the... it is fair to say that they say they were not aware that she was dubbed the biggest benefits cheat.
That they would have been aware of it. Although, as you've pointed out, you could just Google.
But then the story took a turn nobody expected. What began as a feel-good political success story suddenly became something far more complicated. Because after the video gained attention, people began looking into the background of the woman being praised. And that's when the headlines from years earlier reportedly resurfaced. Not over a small misunderstanding, not over a minor dispute, but over a benefit fraud case reportedly worth £740,000. Yes, £740,000. According to the discussion, prosecutors reportedly described it as the largest benefit fraud case by a single person they had personally prosecuted. And suddenly, the entire tone of the story changed. Because what was meant to showcase political success quickly turned into a political headache. To be fair, ATTRIBUTION argued that MPs help anyone who comes through the door and don't run background checks on constituents asking for support. And that's a fair point. But critics had one simple response. Nobody expected an investigation, just maybe a quick Google search. Because when a party takes a tough public stance on benefits and fraud, moments like this are always going to attract attention. And almost as quickly as the video appeared, it was gone.